After the restart, Green still led as the battle for second between Mike Wallace and Jeff Gordon heated up, with Gordon eventually getting the upper hand. No one was able to catch Green, and the rookie went on to score his first Grand National victory ever. Rookies also took the next two positions, with Gordon in second and Wallace third. Rounding out the top five were early leader Presley and Chuck Bound. The 12th row occupied by the all-time winningest driver here at the track, Jack Ingram and Bobby Labonte. Rookie Jeff Gordon starts in the 13th row, along with McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania's Tom Peck. In the 14th row, it's Gary Neice and Bobby Moon making a rare Grand National start. Row 15, the provisional positions, Elton Sawyer and rookie Tracy Leslie.
This afternoon in South Boston, Virginia.
And there's the makeup of the starting field. Oldsmobiles once again the predominant make here, with Buicks starting 8 cars. The Chevrolets will have 5, Pontiacs 4, and there is the one lone Ford in the field of Jeff Gordon.
A car that's having some trouble right now. There's Robert Presley, car number 59. We've made note he'll come into camera pretty soon. Your car number 1, Jeff Gordon, who finished second last week, has already fallen off the pace, and the leader, Steve Grissom, is moving up on him. Is going to put a lap on him very, very soon. Very disappointing start, I'm sure, for car number 1.
Here it is once again. You can see in the left corner of your screen coming off turn 4. Glenn just lost control.
Yeah, he just got in the marbles there a little bit, Mark, and the car just, the back end just came right around on him. That's a very a bad break for Lassiter, but a very good break for Jeff Gordon. As we commented, Steve Grissom, the leader, was just about to put a lap on him, and he was running right in front of that 05 car. So that did enable Gordon to stay in the same lap, and now he's pulled back up. He seemed to pick up the pace just a little bit, but he had the problems there, and now he's back in the lead lap.
Well, there's your leaderboard after 39 laps. Steve Grissom, Chuck Bound, Kenny Wallace, Butch Miller, and Bobby Dotter. And the cars are not at speed because we are under caution again for the 3rd time. Before we show you what happened, let's go down to pit road and Bill Hennessy.
Question about Chuck Bound's car. His car may be knocked out of toe end on the front end due to that encounter with slow traffic in the earlier portion of the race. Right now, here's Ricky Pearson. Ricky, 59 car, spent a lot of time on the pit lane here. What's wrong with Robert Presley?
I believe the rear seal was leaking in the transmission. Blowing grease down on the tailpipe and smoking and taps going on through that.
Looks like you may have just had a temporary repairs for trying to put some silicone in it.
Well, we tried to stop it any way we can.
Well, this man's back out there hoping for a good finish.
We'll be going back to green in less than a lap as Mike Harwood's telling the field to form back up. The reason for that latest caution number 3 on lap 39, was for a spin in turn 1 by Jeff Gordon, a rookie driver who had a great run last week at Lanier, Georgia, at the Lanier Speedway in Gainesville, Georgia, 2nd place. He's back at the tail end of the field, as at the front of the field, Steve Grissom continues to be our race leader, as he has been from the drop of the green, and Chuck Bound, as he has the entire event so far, pounding his rear bumper. And the race leader will be encountering lap traffic here in just a moment. Some of the cars that are running slow, the car he's about to come up on is Jeff Gordon, the rookie contender.
Gordon just popped the wall in turn 4, did exactly the same thing as Richard Lassiter. That will definitely, finally, will get him down a lap. It will cost him any shot at winning this afternoon.
Well, absolutely. Now, as you're talking, Mark, he has to pull the number 1 Ford onto pit road. He's had nothing but trouble since the start of this race, and he found out real early here in South Boston that if you get out of that bottom groove, you're going to meet with the wall real quickly.
And let's follow that back there at the top of the screen, as Steve Grissom is now a roadblock, where moments ago he was the race leader. A tire is going down. It looks like a left rear tire, and that is going to bring our pole sitter to pit road. And what a heartbreak for a man who really needed a good break today.
That monkey that climbed on Steve Grissom's back at the beginning of 1991 is now the size of King Kong. You see all the front end damage. You might have thought sooner or later some of that sheet metal had to rub on one of those Goodyear tires. You see the gap now. Here's Chuck Bound working out of turn 4, as it looks like Jeff Gordon has problems again in the Carolina Ford dealer's Thunderbird. That 4th turn has been miserable for him. He's got a right front tire now down. He'll have to make another stop on pit road. 19 years old, Jeff Gordon out of Indiana.
I think the reason that we're seeing all these right side tires go down, in addition to the bumping and banging going on the racetrack, they're now starting to have to move up the racetrack off of that low groove just a little bit. There's a lot of trash and debris up there. They're running over stuff. stuff cutting these tires.
And also, Goodyear brought a different right side compound than they have ever run here before. It actually has a little bit less tire tread. It is thinner rubber. The reason for that being to keep the tire temperatures down, because they are always concerned about great traction on a new track building of too much temperature, either blistering or blowing out tires.
That's a good point, Mark. And what they've done, you see now Gordon is finally making his way into pit road. It took him 2 laps around the racetrack before he could get into pit road because of the extreme amount of heavy traffic.
After Steve Grissom bottled up the pack, Kenny Wallace was forced to dodge him and lost about 20 car lengths to Chuck Bound. He has made up all that daylight as we see Jeff Gordon's crew going to work on the right side of his race car.
And we have reached a milestone of this event. We have just completed 200 laps as up in turn number 4, Jack Ingram has broken loose and has triggered another caution, number 16, the Iron Man.
Gary Neice also stopped against the concrete retaining wall in turn number 4. So we're under caution yet again in the CarQuest Auto Parts Stores 300. We'll be back with more from South Boston, Virginia.
He's one of the hottest new stars in country music, and he's coming to the Opry. Travis Tritt stars on the Grand Ole Opry Live, Saturday on TNN.
We've got 95 laps remaining in the CarQuest Auto Parts Stores 300. Gary Neice is getting the attention of the safety crews here at South Boston. This will be a lengthy caution period, so we'll take another break, and we'll be back with more action here as we have had 16 yellows to date. The Busch Grand National record is 18. The suspense is building on the yellows here at South Boston, Virginia. We'll be back with more in a moment. Well, understandably, NASCAR has had its hands full scoring this event with so many cars spinning, coming onto pit road, going back out. Here's the leaderboard unofficially as it's shown right at the moment. Just past the 2/3 mark, Jeff Burton, the local favorite, is the leader with Ed Barrier having a great run. Chuck Bond, despite all his problems, is shown 3rd. Bobby Dotter 4th. And Joe Nemechek, the second-year driver, 5th, as the safety crews attend to Gary Neice, who was involved in the latest caution number 16 up there in turn 3. Hit the wall about 40 feet where his car came to rest. Hit at a little bit of an odd angle. The driver now being attended to, and there's the mark on the wall.
Sometimes when you look at those marks, you can almost see the imprint of the race car, and you see where one of his tires made a big impact as he scrubbed that wall. It doesn't look bad, but we can't see the right side of the race car up against the concrete.
Well, Mark, what appears to have happened, he either had a tire go down, brake failure, or else the accelerator hung, because there are marks going up the racetrack leading right to that spot on the wall where Gary hit the wall. And he hit it at a flat angle, like Mark Allen said, and that's the worst kind of angle that a race driver can hit the wall at.
Well, we don't want to speculate on any extent of injuries, if any whatsoever, but you got to wonder here with the Winston 500 race, the second leg of the Winston Million tomorrow at Talladega, Alabama. You certainly don't want to see anything happen down there at the speeds they're running, 190+ miles per hour. That race can be seen live on ESPN, 2 o'clock Eastern starting time, hopefully weather permitting.
They're supposed to have some bad weather there in Talladega. Ernie Irvin and Harry Gant starting on the front row for that $788,000 event. We're still under yellow in the CarQuest Auto Parts Stores 300. When we come back, hopefully the green flag as we continue here in South Boston, Virginia.
The Gary Neice machine has been removed from the speedway, but what's keeping us from going back to green here for just a few moments is Neice was removed by ambulance from the speedway, taken to an area hospital, and they're waiting for another ambulance up in turn 2 to cross over to the racetrack, so they have another safety vehicle inside should anything else precipitate. In fact, it's standard procedure, we might add, that any time a car impacts the wall and is not able to continue, that the driver has to have a medical checkup, whether it be in the infield care center or outside the racetrack if necessary.
We should be ready to go back to green in just a moment. You see the ambulance crossing the track, moving to the infield area. Well, what about the drivers? They're moving now into nitty-gritty time. This is quite a break, quite a chance for them to gather their thoughts, catch their breath for the final run.
To take their position on the track, and you got a guy come flying out of the pit, so they use that mark. Once the caution car passes that mark, they hold all cars in the pits until the field passes by.
And Dave Rosendi's crew are having to work on that Oldsmobile. just had a vicious time today driving right on the ragged edge.
Speaking of vicious, you're about to see a vicious impact in turn one here at South Boston. There's Moon's car, the far right of the screen, just rips the concrete retaining wall, an angle shot very similar to Gary Neice's, and the safety crews now going to the attention of Spout Spring, Virginia driver Bobby Moon.
At the top of the racetrack in turn 4, just coming into your screen, there is Jeff Gordon, who has apparently cut down a right front tire. There is no caution at this point as he is trying to keep that car under control and out of the way, and barely is able to do that. The yellow flag does not come out as he makes a veteran move and gets the car up to the top of the racetrack.
He'll have some clear room once these cars get by him here to get the car down and get it into the pits and out of harm's way.
Race leader Jeff Burton is going for his second career Busch Grand National victory. As you see Gordon coming onto pit road, it has been a very long day for that Pittsburgh, Indiana driver. And while we're looking at our race leader, the battle for second is really heating up now as Bobby Dotter.
Well, tragedy also struck last Saturday during the Busch Grand National race at South Boston, Virginia, won by Jeff Burton. The car driven by occasional series competitor Gary Neice didn't appear to have made hard contact with the third turn wall, but he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival at Halifax South Boston Community Hospital. An autopsy later in the week revealed that Neice died of a heart attack just prior to the accident and not from injuries in the accident itself. Gary Neice was 36.
Veteran Tommy Houston is next from Hickory, North Carolina. Row 4 is that USAC Midget champion. That's Jeff Gordon. And the veteran Dick Trickle from Wisconsin is alongside.
The car was looking at Morgan Shepherd is a Ford. There's just not many Ford V6 engines around. He has one there. Jeff Gordon runs one of them. They're working on that motor. They just haven't got enough of them available yet, but they're running good with them once they do have.
Air Force Reserve Commander's Performance Award was given out yesterday by Colonel John Winston of the U.S. Air Force Reserve to a very well-known team, and let's get that story now.
Thank you. I'm real pleased to be here at Charlotte Motor Speedway today. With me is Barry Dodson, the crew chief on Mickey Gibbs's car. We at Air Force Reserve selected Barry and his team to receive this Commander's Trophy in recognition of the fact that they ran the Air Force colors at Daytona. We think that was a super recognition of the folks in the desert.
Thank you very much, Colonel. On my behalf and Team 3, we were very honored and very proud to carry the Air Force colors in this year's Daytona 500 and come home with the top 20 finish. Thanks.
Barry Dodson, one of the nicest guys in the business, and I hope that team finally gets their colors flying.
I sure do. They've had problems here the last couple of weeks. They've lost a couple of cars, but they're in the 600, and hopefully they can have a good finish tomorrow.
So the clock now shows 4 minutes until we crank him up again. Here's Dick Bergman.
And I'm with young Jeff Gordon. He's a teenager, 19 years old, but you had a big night in Indianapolis last night.
Yeah, you know, we had a great night. We went up to Indianapolis Fairgrounds, and car was just working great. You know, we had a brand new beast car, and the guys did a good job up there, and I'd just like to thank them. We ended up winning it.
That's a beast dirt champ car, very different than this automobile, and you're going to go back to Indianapolis tonight?
Yeah, we got a midget race there night before the 500 that I've won the last 2 years in a row. We're going to try to do it a third time, but right now we're concentrating on this race. It's a big race for us, and you know, we're not running too bad. We actually planned to run good at the end, and we knew we weren't going to run good at the beginning, so we're still working at it.
Now there's a teenager for you. Barney?
There you see the number 1 Ford. That's Jeff Gordon. And this guy's a racer. That's in the grand old tradition of Neil Bonnet and the rest of them. He'll run anytime, it's like Waltrip when he began. Remember, he used to run Talladega, go home to Owensboro, Kentucky to run at night, and come back and qualify, and go up to Nashville and run the next. He's going back and forth to Indianapolis like that. Wins last night on the mile at the fairgrounds. Back here today to race this afternoon. Back to Indianapolis tonight to race midgets at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Ken, I tell you what, that was a legitimate question Mike Joy had a while ago about running today and how he felt tomorrow. But when you're at the age of this young man right here, you can run every night of the week, and then we'll get in here and run 600 miles tomorrow, and then be looking for a race on Monday. I tell you what, he's doing a great job, and anything he gets in, he wins. So he certainly, I feel like he'll be a big factor in this type of racing in a few years.
Stabler standing by with a man who's put together the engine and the team that has set a record and sets on the pole for the $1 million Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow. Ken?
We're here with Jack Rouse of Rouse Racing. Jack, you're out of it today. Have you learned anything today that might help Mark Martin tomorrow?
Well, we're watching to see what's happening with the tires. You know, this place traditionally goes tight on a pit stop as the tires get more and more time and more temperature in them. And the track every year is getting wore out more, too, so we were concerned if it would still have that kind of a flip this year where you start off with the car fairly loose on new tires and then it would go tight. That's what it looks like it's doing.
How about a quick thought on your young driver, Jeff Gordon?
Jeff Gordon's got a great future. You know, we're really excited about what his prospects are. His car's a little bit, Carolina Ford dealer Thunderbird's a little bit tight today, but they're going to change 2 tires on and loosen him up. We think we'll be able to run toward the end here.
Jack Rouse getting ready for tomorrow.
Right now, looking for that position is Hensley. He moved in on Ernie Urban and gave him a little dose of his own medicine, huh?
Tapped him a little bit there and said, I want to come on by, and he certainly did. He went on around and got in front of him now.
So Hensley moves up into 4th, Ernie Urban falls to 5th. And there's that number 1 car of Jeff Gordon, the kid that won last night in Indiana out there on the mile in the Silver Crown Series. Came here today to run this Ford, and he goes back to run a Midget tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And he's 19 years old, and he's already a United States Auto Club Midget champion. He is some kind of kid.
Yeah, and he's one of the few guys to go up there. I think A.J. Foyt was the promoter on that race last night, the first time he ever promoted a race, and he got some of A.J.'s money and came on back home.
Took some of Buddy Job's money, too, the fellow that runs the Phoenix track. Jeff Gordon currently leads in the rookie standings by some 22 points over David Green. And he wants to go stock car racing, but he sure is good in the open wheelers. Chuck Bound is coming back on the speedway. You see the 1 car closing up on the 94. That's a battle for 13th position. Labonte in the 94, just in front of the number 1. There you see him. Terry Labonte in the 94, and this wild ride down across the grass area here at the start-finish line. Trying to hold off the number 1. Chuck Bound is back on the track. Now 4 or 5 laps down. Not many Fords. They're kind of scant in Grand National Racing these days. Ford started to come in, then they backed out of it when they realized the V8 was going to be the way that Winston Cup race was going to be staying in years to come.
Yeah, the Buick motor, the Buick V6 has had a lot of development also for other types of racing, so the adaptation over here on this side is really good.
Be able to make it, but yeah, I've been really busy, you know, running the stock cars down south today at Charlotte. Ran here in Indianapolis at the fairgrounds last night. Had a really good win there, and we're going to try to do it again here tonight.
We'll tell you all about Eric Gordon's exploits this weekend and why he's got those bags under his eyes. He's been doing a lot of airplane time here. Eric Gordon is the story tonight as you come after your 3rd win in the night before the 500. But right now, I don't know, the weather looks pretty iffy. You got a gut feel of whether you'll be able to run tonight?
Well, I think so. You know, I've been pretty fortunate with the rain here lately. So, you know, if it's up to me, I think we'll get it in. It looks like they've got all the trucks out there and equipment to dry the track off right now. So it might have died down a little bit. But, you know, I think we're going to get it in. Whether we got to wait a while or not, I think we'll get it in. And right now the Diet Pepsi Midget is just really running fast.
Now, we talked to Rollie before we dragged this guy in out of the rain here to make sure, Rollie Helmling, of course, is the car owner, to make sure that we could have you for a little bit. You're ready to just jump in, belt up, and go to work, right?
Yeah, Rollie's got the car ready to go, and I tell you what, when he prepares a car, he really knows how to prepare it. And that car's just sitting down there waiting for me to get in it. And I tell you what, I think I'm ready too. You know, I've been doing a lot of racing here lately, but it's not too often you get 3 competitive cars run 3 separate nights that are capable of winning all 3 races, and we're going to try to make it 2 out of the 3 here tonight.
Given the fact that you're all set to go, can you hang with us here for a couple minutes?
Sure. You know, I'm as long as the rain's hanging out there, I'm hanging in here.
Okay, good man. He of course got to be an old pro at this TV business last year, winning all the Saturday Night Thunder races. Let's bring in the other 2 members of the team, find out what they're there for last night's Silver Crown race. And as he prepared to qualify, he took a minute to tell us what brought brought him back to Indianapolis and the fairgrounds race.
I just really enjoy these cars, and they're the kind of cars and the people that got me where I am today with the stock cars, and I'm just really having a lot of fun with it and just try to do our best. And we've got 3 competitive race cars that are capable of winning 3 different races, and I don't think you get that opportunity too often, so we're going to make the best of it.
Well, we all know that Air Gordon flies on the ground, on the racetrack, as well as in the air. It was twilight as he went out to qualify. First step toward what he hoped would be a second straight USAC Silver Crown win. Versatility, clearly one of this kid's strong suits. He hadn't been in this car since February when he won the opener, but lo and behold, 10 o'clock last night, Central Time, he drove her into victory lane. A.J. Foyt, the promoter of the race, 15,000 people on hand. A great way to kick off a triple-header weekend for Jeff Gordon as he remains undefeated in the Silver Crown division. But no time to waste, an hour to celebrate, and then it's into the car and back to the airport. Air Gordon, leg 2, ready to head back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the stock car waits for today's big Grand National battle. Not much time for fooling around for this kid, who has clearly charted a course towards stock car racing, and now these trips back home to Indiana are a mere luxury. And so with the crew, it's show up at the airport and get ready for the second leg, still with a big smile on his face after the win. You did good, kid. Time is both a friend and an enemy. At 2:30 in the morning, he is back in Charlotte. He has lost an hour going back the other direction, and that means he gets to sleep in his own bed at 4:22 a.m. But not for very long, because at 9 in the morning, he's not only up, he's back at the racetrack. This is Charlotte Motor Speedway. Breakfast is Kentucky Fried Chicken, and is that a little bit of sleepiness that we see in those eyes as the kid prepares for today's Grand National battle. Big crowd on hand for the race at noon today. Gordon in pretty good shape going into the event, but things started going wrong in a hurry and just kept getting worse. You'll get a glimpse of number 1, the Carolina Ford dealers machine on the outside. Going backwards here, he threatened the top 10 for a while, but then got a black flag for an oil leak. All in all, it was not a great afternoon, but no time to feel sorry for himself. Hot and sweaty at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Air Gordon is in the helicopter and preparing to leave Charlotte Motor Speedway for yet another trip back to Indianapolis. There is that magnificent Speed Palace disappearing in the rearview mirror as he heads for the airport and liftoff. So at 4:20 this afternoon, a quick nap, he's headed back for Indianapolis and tonight's midget race. And there you see him leaving in sunshine, arriving in the rain. Gordon back at the racetrack. Hey, been watching himself on television. You got to be just whipped. Are you really that tired?
Well, I've been drinking a lot of Gatorade here and a lot of Diet Pepsi, and really, I'm not too bad right now. I've been able to rest, sit down for a while, and just really concentrate on the race tonight. But I think I'll be all right.
Thanks for taking time out of a obviously very busy schedule to come up here. They're hollering for you down at the race car, so head down there, okay?
All right, thanks a lot. Anytime.
All right, that is Jeff Gordon, and we're going to hope to still bring you some.
The first 8 are inverted. The fastest 8 qualifiers, Tice Carlson and Bob Zacconi, who won here about 3 weeks ago outside. The second row, Mike Fedorchak and Barry Reed. In row 3 on the inside, Dan Drynan. Outside, there he is, Jeff Gordon with the camera. In the 4th row, P.J. Jones and Jimmy Sills. Row 5, Stevie Reeves, who won at Winchester last week, and Drew Finoro. In the 6th row, Rick Howerton and Jim Hettinger. In row 7, Eric Gordon and Jim Keeker. In the 8th row, Mike Stryker and Davey Hamilton. Row 9 on the inside, Brett Poole. Outside, John Heidenreich. In the 10th row, Pat Bliss and Don Schilling. Row 11, Ted Hines and Bev Griffiths. Row 12, Doug Wright and Doug Coletta. As we ride with Jeff Gordon.
Look at Jeff Gordon. He's running really quick, but the 2 guys up front, Fedorchak and Zacconi, right now have him covered pretty well. Doesn't look like he's working the wheel too much. He's saving it. He's running nice and easy, nice and straight.
Well, now, is he just waiting for them to make a mistake? Is he going to school on what prove they're running?
He's got 50 laps to do this in. He knows it. He's been around this racetrack a lot of times. He doesn't have to hurry. He wants to make sure the tires last. That's number one, because if you get in a hurry and do something silly, you're gonna wear out the tires. So Coney dropped low right then. You see the stuff they're talking about, the water
The moisture on the
wheel. As they went down the straightaway, they threw that moisture up on our camera, and then they got it off there. But that's what Mel Kenyon was talking about just a second ago. Here he's going to give him a shot. He's going to run out in low. He doesn't have enough speed. He just kind of tested that groove. He didn't really make a good run out of that time. He was testing the groove, see if it was there. Next time, oh, did you see that car in front of him wiggle? He hit that water and he wiggled again. Boy, that water might be a problem coming off that main straightaway. But look at Jeff Gordon in that number 4 car. He's working real hard to Bob Ciccone in that number 59 car right now.
We talk about engines. That's the Jeff Jones Pontiac. So you've got 2 Gurneys out in front, then the Pontiac. And they are right together on the racetrack, working on lap number 13 of a 50-lap main event from Indianapolis Raceway Park. The big question is, can Jeff Gordon make it 3 in a row?
These guys are running a really smart race right now. He's going to give him a shot. No, he can't quite make it slick. He cannot quite move up there. That's going to get the tires working pretty quick. We're going to see if that's going to make a difference if he does that. Oh, did you see? Fedorchuk hit that water that time. He got a little squirrely when he hit that water up there.
Gordon may have it. They almost get together coming off turn 2.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at man, oh man. Oh no.
Oh, look at the in-car camera. And he keeps his foot in it.
You believe
he keeps it right
still on the throttle.
I think he got the position too. He got the position. He got second place while he was airborne.
Holy smokes, can you believe that?
Coney back on the throttle.
He's running that thing on 2 wheels and still on the throttle and going straight. He is the luckiest guy in the whole wide world.
For George Chitwood, driver's side down.
Man, oh man, so Coney.
Here comes Sills.
Sills got a breath of life. He's probably trying to get his hard started too back there in 3rd place or 4th place. He almost ran into him.
You're trying to get your heart started. You're up here in the broadcast.
Like I said last week, my heart's jumping up and down like a Chevrolet Busch ride when stuff like that happens.
Well, now as we take a pause and catch our breath, there's the gap between 2nd and 3rd. The white number 1, the Diet Pepsi Peach Pontiac is in 2nd. And you got the Reader Gurney back there in the 3rd with Bob Ciccone. As we look back at Bob Ciccone right now.
All that monkey motion back there allowed Fedorchuk to move out a little bit. You know that Gordon right now, he comes off of that thing really quick. He doesn't even let off the throttle. He's going to the front now again. He's already caught up with Fedorchuk. He was back 8, 10, 12 car lengths. He's already back on the throttle. That thing's not phasing him one bit. That was an incident that happens. It happens to him all the time.
Inside
and he's going to go for the front already. This guy's some kind of race car driver, man. I got to tell you.
And you know he has to be fatigued. He has to be both mentally and physically fatigued. We're going to look at this on the inside.
This kid is running that race car hard. He knows he has a chance to make history. He knows he has a chance to become a part of an elite group. He won 2 nights ago, or last night. He didn't do so well today. He wants to prove to everybody on television tonight that I'm still the man. I'm still the man.
Coming off of turn 2, he takes a look to the inside. That's where he got in trouble with Ciccone. And boy, are they hooked up.
I think he touched Fedorchuk that time. I think he hit him with the bumper with his right front wheel. That's pretty close racing. Boy, I tell you, they're going the fastest. They have the most control over their car.
They're consistent.
So it's easier to race with them. Exactly right. The guys that are running fast and running straight and running consistent are the easiest guys to race with. So these first 3, 4, 5 guys, they're not working. Here we go.
Yes, he has. He went through my father, Buck Becker driving school, and we knew right away that he was something extra special. And to see him run this well after going through the school, and every week he's just getting better and better. He'll be a winner in the near future.
Jeff Gordon.
The rising stars, and I'll tell you, if Todd Bodine has won, certainly this young man, Jeff Gordon, who finished in 2nd place, did a great job. Jeff, we watched you go. Buddy was talking both about you and Todd, and he said that Jeff Gordon's starting to find his way around here. You, best finish ever in the Busch cars. We've touted you as having a great future, and this begins to confirm the kind of things that a lot of people have expected from you.
Well, today was just an unreal day. You know, I mean, here at Dover, and a lot of people here on TV, and a lot of the Winston Cup drivers out there also. So, you know, I really just owe a lot to the crew. They did an excellent job. The car was just working all day long. We fell back at the beginning, but the thing really came on strong, you know, halfway, and I just you know, owe a whole lot to Carolina Ford dealers and the crew. I mean, they just did a great job.
Jeff, you and Kenny Schrader are the most recent guys to come out of open wheel competition up north. Is it a difficult transition to make? These are bigger, heavier cars, not quite as much horsepower, but very difficult to drive. Not a lot of tire. How long is it a learning process for you that's going to take a little more time?
Oh, definitely. You know, I mean, the veterans are really the ones who win these races, and the guys with a lot of laps and a lot of experience, and that's what it takes to win. You know, every once in a while the young guys can throw one in there, but I'll tell you what, you know, it's not so much harder, it's just totally different from what I'm used to. I'm used to kind of sliding the cars around and really working with the cars, and you know, these cars, you really got to work with the handling part of it. You really got to get them working well, and you know, you just got a lot of patience for these longer races. You really just got to pace yourself and hope the car comes on halfway through the race, and that's exactly what our car did today.
Sure did, and our congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Jeff Gordon. Mike?